Okay, this is the very impressive engine compartment of the 1967 Chevelle SS Real 138 code. Started life as an SS convertible on top of everything else, and a 3-pedal car. It's a 4-speed. But Devin and I just checked the numbers on this engine, and we'll tell you at the very end why it's so impressive. It appears to be a 375, 396 L78 motor, but it isn't. It's a little more than that, and we'll get to that later. But it does have the correct style valve pan covers on it. It has the dual plane intake manifold that would have came on a L78 car. A Holley vacuum secondary, appears to be a 780 Holley carburetor on it. It has an aluminum water pump on it. The motor, you can see, has been taken out and it's completely refreshened. Numbers on the motor are very nice and clear and legible, which we'll also get to that in a short period of time here. It does have power steering with a remote reservoir, just the way it would be for 1967. Dual stage master cylinder, new power brake booster, new alternator, chrome. You can see that. Donnie puts new belts on everything, so we know this car has all new belts on it. Clutch fan, just the way they were released. Correct style fan shroud to go with a heavy-duty radiator that came with these guys. Cast iron exhaust manifolds, the original style that came from the factory with this car, are still intact on the vehicle. High silicone plug wires, and it has the original equipment style Delco distributor with no HEI setup on it whatsoever, and the vacuum advance is blocked off, which means that someone's recurved the advance curve on this guy. Has a shut-off for the battery, which is a nice addition. Battery appears to be new. I don't know if Donnie replaced it or not. The windshield washers are still hooked up and functional on the vehicle. Core support, there's no damage whatsoever on it. You can see everything is just as nice and clean as it was when it was new. Let's see. Engine compartment, very clean. Someone's really done a total restoration on this vehicle and done a very good job of it. Really paid a lot of attention to detail. It's a nice looking engine compartment. It's making serious horsepower above what's noted here, but we'll get into that again later on in the video. The valve pan covers don't appear to have any leaks whatsoever, nor does the intake manifold or water pump timing chain cover. None of it. There are no leaks whatsoever at this point, the top of this engine. Really impressive engine compartment. 14-inch unsilenced air cleaner, the way these guys came in 1967. And it's just a fantastic, very well detailed out engine compartment. Now we're going to go over the rest of the car for you. Okay, I'm really excited about this car. It's a lot more than I thought it was when I first took a look at it. We're going to go over it and show you everything we possibly can on this vehicle. You're at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida, and this is a really neat car, and you'll get into why it's so neat shortly on in the video here. The gaps on the hood to the cowl area to the fenders, just as nice as you'd ever want to find. The paint on this is certainly above a driver quality paint job. It is very nice. It's smooth. It doesn't have any imperfections. Just looking at it, it's a white car, so I'm sure if you really look hard enough, it's not a Ferrari or a Porsche, so you're going to find something. But just looking at the car, you can't see anything at all. Where the hood scoops usually have this deteriorated, some patina on the chrome. These are like brand spanking new. Again, the gap on both sides of the hood and the cowl area, just as fresh and nice and tight and clean as you'd ever hope to find them. Hood needs adjusted. Here it's rattling there. It just needs tightened down a little bit. We're going to do that for you. The grille, there's no denser indentations on it whatsoever. SS 396, because that's what this guy started life at, and that's kind of what it is, sort of. Bumper has no scuffs or marks at all on it. The chrome is just as bright and fresh as it was when it was new. Bumper alignment appears to be very nice and linear on the vehicle. Parking lights in the bumper insets are amber, and they're just as clean and fresh as you'd hope to find on these guys. Front end of this car is very nice. Alignment would be great if I just tighten this hood down. This would fit perfectly, as this side's going to, because this has to go up just a hair. Nice looking front end of the car. Going down the side of it, our SS 396 flags, the way they would have been in 1967 when this guy was released. Correct wiper arms, incorrect blades, modern ANCO style blades. The dashboard transitions to the base of the windshield just the way it was when it was new. Dashboard the same way. The pad, there's no indentations in it or cracks or deviations whatsoever. Trim around the front window, just spot on. Obviously, it has a convertible top, and Devin will show you that with the top down, and I'm sure the top are operational. Look at the gaps on this. Look at this. I don't know where Kevin got this car, but he definitely got a real jewel here. This thing's really nice. Where there's usually patina here, there is none, absolutely none in that wing area. It has the correct bow tie mirror on it for 1967. Tinted glass in the front. I'm going to call it tinted glass the sides too. Look at the window alignment on this thing, really nice. Wipes, whiskers, just as fresh and clean as you'd hope to ever find. Brand new door handles. Interior of this car is exceptional. You'll see it better when Devin gives you the high-resolution still photos of it. But it's not burgundy. It is a bright red color, just the way they were. It's cherry red, just as bright as can be. It has the original rabbit ear Muncie shifter in it, the correct style steering wheel, the tack with the turn signal in it, the way it would have been for an option in 1967. It does have a gauge cluster with it, the optional gauges. Carpeting, floor mats, everything in this is just as fresh as you'd ever hope to find. Seat belts in the front. I don't see any in the rear, but that doesn't mean they're not tucked behind the seat. Just a real fresh interior. If you look inside the doors, you can see the VIN plate, nice and intact and original, just the way it was, 67. Again, Devin's going to show you a bunch of real high-resolution photos of everything that we're talking about here, so you have an idea of how nice this car actually is. Original molded armrests, the chrome behind them is just as fresh as can be. All new rubbers and seals, moldings on it. And again, look at the door jambs, just spot on. Can't get any nicer than that. Look at this. Look at the gap on this thing. Just as nice as you could hope to ever find on one. The glass plastic for the convertible top and in the well area where they're usually deteriorated. This is nice and fresh and clean down in there, but the plastic you can see is nice and taut the way you want it, so there's no deviations or warps in it, and you can see out of it just like you could a glass window. It's nice and clear too, by the way. Wheel lip moldings on the vehicle. It has a set of, I'm going to call them 15 by 7 in the front. They might be 15 by 8s in the rear. I'm not really sure, but they are a set of rally wheels with the correct style 67 short hats on them, the way they would have been. Super Sport designation on the back. Okay, going around the back of the car, you can see the chrome bezels around your tail lights, just as nice and fresh as could be. Nice clear lenses in them also. There's no patina at all detectable on any of the chrome. And again, look at the alignment of this deck lid. It's the same as it was on the hood, just as near perfect as you could hope to find. Look at the paint on this thing. Just totally amazing, the finish on the vehicle. Really has a lot of depth to it, a lot of finesse as far as paint goes. It's really nice. Black across the back of the car with SS 396 designation the way it would be. And you can see the bumper alignment is just as it was up front. Very nice and linear. Backup lights nice and clear, crystal clear lenses on it. And I'm going to open the trunk here and see what we can show you inside this guy. And we have a really nice looking trunk. There's the boot, obviously, that goes with the vehicle. There are the rear seat belts. Apparently they chose not to put them on because they're ugly and most people don't put them in the back. A raft of information for the total rebuild of this vehicle. I really don't know what's in here yet. We just got this vehicle and Kevin sent it down to us, and it looks like owner's manuals and a lot of original paperwork with the vehicle, and it has to do with the complete rebuild of this this project. Floor pan, absolutely no indication that it's been replaced or it needs any attention whatsoever. Power antenna for the radio. Nice soft rubbers the way they were around the doors. It's just the car is just a completely over-the-top done nice car. Fantastic car. A lot of paperwork too. We'll have to go through that we actually have. Going down the passenger side of the car, we got Super Sport again on the back. Honestly, this thing is just as fresh and nice a looking car as you could ever hope to find. The convertible top is nice and taut too. You can see that there's no wrinkles whatsoever in it. It's just a nice fitting top. Wipes, whiskers, the same as it was on the other side. Window fitment, see that? Just as nice as you'd hope. door gaps, front and rear, and we also got our bow tie mirror to match the other one. Again, you can see the quality of the interior of this car. It just reeks quality. I mean, everything appears to be as it was new in 1967. This is a great vehicle. Door panel's the same on this side as it was on the other side. And again, the seats, the carpeting, it even has a set of custom floor mats carpeted for it. Just a great looking car. Okay, again, no patina here. Trim around the front window. Again, on this side, just as straight and nice as can be. Look at these gaps. That's really sweet. It does not get any better than that. Forgot to mention red line tires that would have been like an original release with this vehicle in 1967. You could get white lines or red lines, and this guy has red line tires on it. Again, our 396 designation in the front. But that's not what it is. We just checked the numbers on this. Devin and I just took a look at them, and it's not a restamp. Obviously, it's not a numbers correct motor per se for the vehicle, not serial number correct. But however, it is a JH code, which turns out to be a 435, 427 out of a Corvette. So that's what your basis is for the block on this, which designates that it would have a lot of internal components. But again, you know, there are so many stroker kits, we don't really know what this motor is internally, but we know what it did start life as, and that was a 427, 435. So with that intake and carburetor on it, it would be the same as an L72, which is a 4 1/4 horse 427. Got tall port heads on it, solid cam. This thing makes some serious horsepower, which we'll see here shortly. Fantastic looking car. We just went over this. Paint, the fit, the finish, everything on this car is just top shelf. Very, very nice. It's available here at Hankster's, and would really like you to come down and take a look at this, but if you can't, that's why Devin's going to give you all the photos and information that you need on this vehicle on our website so that you can go over it and study it. And if you have any further questions, all you got to do is pick up the phone and call. We can give you additional photos if you require or additional information. But this car is a top shelf car. Take a look at it. It's here at Hankster's in Daytona Beach. Okay, here's a whole dossier of what we found in the packet in the trunk. Talk about receipts for the car. Everything from, I think, the day when this car was new, because here's the original window sticker, the convertible top booklet, protector plate from the original sale of the car, the original owner's manual, and pictures of the engine being completely redone. It's a closed chamber, tall port motor, 435, 427 as it originated from a Corvette in 1967. So it is a period correct motor for the car. Complete frame-off restoration on this vehicle and documentation for everything that's been done to it. Even has the original plastic packet for the owner's manual and everything from the factory. You got a complete history of this car, owner history, and documentation of showing the complete frame-off rebuild of the vehicle. A lot of documents with this guy. Okay, this is the very impressive undercarriage of a 1967 Chevelle SS, real SS car, convertible. Heavy-duty sway bar in the front. It looks like a new steering box in the front. All new associated steering gear. Tie rod ends are new. Ball joints are all new. Springs in the front are new. Oil pan's been deepened. I'm going to guess it's about an 8-quart pan, 8.5 quart pan. It still retains its original exhaust manifolds, cast iron, and they go into, I'm going to call them 2 1/4 inch primary pipes coming off. Disc brakes in the front, all new associated hardware, new calipers, new rotors, new hoses. Everything on this car, suspension-wise in the front, has been addressed. Bell housing area, no leaks. Engine, which was completely out, you can see, and there's pictures of it, a total rebuild on the engine. It is a very impressive motor in this car. M22, at least indicative of the drain plug in the bottom, rock pressure transmission, 4-speed. No leaks on it either, or the tail shaft, or the speedometer drive. Floor pans are really, really nice. I can't tell if they've been replaced or not. The convertibles are a little bit different than the coupes. The coupes have a C-channel perimeter frame that goes around them, and where the convertibles have an entire box frame. It gives it a lot more strength, twice as much strength actually as a coupe does. Original style fuel line over here. Brake lines have been replaced. The parking brake assembly is hooked up and functional. New U-joints on the drive shaft. The floor pans again, and the frame. Take a look at the frame. There's absolutely no jack marks, no indentures, absolutely nothing indicative of this car even being lifted up through the years. Someone's really been very careful with this guy. The mufflers are, I'm going to call them turbo mufflers. Again, I'm going to call them 2 1/4 in, 2 1/8 out. F41 style rear suspension in this guy. It has a heavy-duty F41 style sway bar and the boxed-in supported swing arms. Heavy-duty shocks in the front, heavy-duty shocks in the rear. Gas tank, it has to be replaced. It couldn't possibly be new yet. It's too clean and too nice. Drop downs in the quarters. There's no indication that there's any deterioration on them. The same as the floor pan itself. I can't tell if anything has ever been replaced, although the car was a complete frame-off total restoration. At this point, it gives you the indication that it is as it was new in 1967 when it left GM plant. Again, you can see the undercarriage of this, and at this point, anyway, it doesn't have any leaks in the driveline or the rear differential, which is a 12-volt too, by the way, and it is a posi rear end also. But it's a muscle car. If it's not leaking now, next year or the year after, you can bet there'll be some oil on the floor. It's just nature of the beast, I guess. The subframes, or the frames that go up over the rear differential are just as nice and fresh and clean as you could ever hope to find. Devin's going to show you a lot of high-resolution photos of this vehicle underneath and in its entirety so that you can go over this and you'll see absolutely everything that you want on this car. If you have any additional questions or require any additional information, call Hanksters and we'll fix you up with whatever you need for your purchase of the car. Okay, this is the interior of our 67 Chevelle Convertible. 138 code, big block car. Really, really nice car. The horn does work. The first one of these we've had that does have power windows, and the windows do function. Devin will show you that in his video. The turn signal to the left, it's in the tack, which is an option on these vehicles, and because with the tack there you can't see the turn signal in the back, so they put it in the tack. To the left it's functioning, and to the right it's functioning just the way it should. This has the optional instrumentation. Temperature just starting to come up. Oil pressure up nice and high, just the way it should be. Battery charging like it should, and Jeff gave us a little under 1/4 of a tank of fuel so that we can go for a ride. Let's see what else we got here. We got windshield wipers just working the way they should. And we got a radio with a power antenna that works. The antenna's going up. I'm not going to hunt for a station, but you can hear the radio. It works fine. Fan for the air works just the way it should. Controls work also just the way they should. You can hear the fan working. So everything in the vehicle works. Also, it has a tilt wheel from the factory. It's an original GM type tilt steering wheel. This is a nice car. We're going to go for a ride and see what this guy runs like. Look at this. Goes down the road absolutely as straight as you'd want it to. Absolutely as straight and nice as you want this car to go down the road. Really nice. Let's try it, no hands, brakes. Again, stops just as straight and nice and true as you want it to. Temperature just coming up, running nice and cool for us, but it is coming up. Gauge does function. Nice running car. It's real tight. Steering is real responsive. There's no play whatsoever in the steering wheel. Absolutely none. There's no wind noise to this thing. There's no vibration, no shake, no shimmy, nothing. Just a real nice tight car. Very nice tight car. We're going to turn around here and give it a little shot. You've got to be careful. This is 35-mile-an-hour zone, and they're going to instill the death penalty on me if I get caught one more time. About 75, it's long enough. But you can hear the car pulls and it's very responsive. Speedometer functioning as it should. We're back down to about 45, 50 mile an hour now. This is a nice tight car. Very nice. Like I said, it's as nice a tight convertible as you could ever hope to find. It does have a power top too. Devin has that listed in the options, I'm sure. And everything in it works. As you can see, everything functions just the way it should. Great running car. Goes down the road straight, it drives straight. Got to aim it straight though first. And it's just a great car. You're not going to find a nicer Chevelle convertible than this guy, especially with this power plant in it. Pretty tough motor to find. 4-wheel main. There's pictures of everything during the restoration showing you all the amenities that this car has, in addition to the way it was released from the factory with all the paperwork assigned to the vehicle. You got to take a look at this one. This is a very, very rare piece of equipment, and it's a very desirable car, and one of the most desirable body styles that General Motors ever made, 67 Chevelle. Hangsters, Daytona Beach.